Welcome back to USF 2000 AI League Season 4 Race 16 here at Kentucky Speedway. Qualifying currently underway. Right now, Max Cold, first car out on track. But he's got a couple behind him, the 17 of Mahavir Raghunathan, and that is 46 of Wine Silly Man right next to him on the outside. Max Cold sets a time of 36.7. That is currently the time to beat. Raghunathan and Wine Silly Man both go behind that by about 2 tenths. Jacques Croissant goes up into second, so Max Colt currently on the pole right now. We'll go underneath the 15, so I think the 51 may have gotten some draft help, which would provide a better lap time. 36.556 is now the pole time. The 45 of Jacques Croissant got very close, 2 thousandths off the fastest time. I saw the 2 of Spring Roll had a pretty good time for a second there. Let's see where he's gonna go. He goes third as of now. 15 of Eliza Doe on a good lap. Goes first by about 4 hundredths. Just on the outside of the 51 who they pushed out. A lot of cars now setting lap times. The 14 of the Sun is on a good lap. 35.8, that is 6 tenths faster. Phil Slow goes second, but still about 4 tenths off, so the Sun currently on pole with a good time. We'll have to see if that holds up, but that is very good. Eliza Doe moves into third place, right behind Phil Slow, who is now 1 tenth back from first. As David Bialois now moves up into third, just beating out their teammate. Anyone else going to make some big improvements? We'll have to see. What about the 0 of Chris will go only 21st. That's not too good, but luckily on these ovals, it's quick to get around and set a lap. So right now the Sun's still out in first and moves to the inside, gonna probably take the lead of his group. Saul Goodman down in last, moves up to 17th, but that's not too great. What about the 84 of Chad Broski? Only moves up to 21st, that's not too great. but it is an improvement, so I guess it's slightly good. About 3 minutes left. We'll see if anyone moves up. A couple cars come into the pits, like Ragunathan and Croissant, 7th and 13th respectively. Karishima and Broski move up to 16th and 17th, both right by each other. As Spring Roll now moves up into 7th. Definitely helpful towards the championship. Chris is going to improve to 13th. That's not good enough. Missing Sock moves into the top 10. Everyone within 8/10 of first place, at least. Yeah, not a lot of time improvements, especially because some cars just refueled, like Mahavir Ragunathan. Max Cole, who is in 5th. Chris down in 15th, not where they'd like to be, especially being a championship contender, and your rival is sitting in 7th, so that's not wanted. John Panini comes in. So far, the Sun looking pretty good for a first pole. It's been a pretty rough season for the 14, so maybe it'll turn around today. That's checkered flag, so we'll have to see if anyone can beat the Sun. The 60 is improving, but will it be good enough? No, the 60 is coming in. What about the 51? 51 in 5th, so this could be pretty good. Getting a good draft from the cars in front. So let's see if Max Cold could do it. It's going to be close. No, it's not good enough, but it'll move up into 3rd place. We'll be on the inside of row 2. So now let's take a look at your starting grid. The Sun on pole with a 35.8. First pole of the season, up by about a 10th on Phil Slow, who's going to be starting on the outside. Max Cold and David Bialois in row 2. Row 3 is Eliza Doe and Sussa Samogus. Row 4, championship leader Spring Roll, right next to Mahavir Ragunathan. Row 5, a pair of teammates, OxyClean and Missing Sock. Row 6, 3rd and 4th in the championship, Beijing Beef and Gus Fring. And then row 7 would be Wine Silly Man and Tetsu Tetsu. Wine Silly Man's been on a really good streak of races recently. Row 8, Chris, 2nd in the championship. And then right next to them is Jacques Croissant. Row 9, Karishima and Chad Broski. And then row 10 is Saul Goodman and the father. Row 11 is Rogero Espinel and Spencer Alfredo. Row 12, John Panini and May Borowski. And then rounding out the field is Diogo Sebastio. So let's take a look at your race info. 1.46 miles. We're racing the old Kentucky configuration. 87 degrees, so it's a very warm night, but it is very clear. And it's 18-mile-per-hour wind speed, so it's pretty windy. Previous winners, Season 1, Sophia, Season 2, John Christensen, and Season 3, Monsieur Bone, who's the only one to kind of return in some form of car. That'll be the 15 and 16, who are starting 4th and 5th. Championship standings coming into this race. Spring Roll leads by 20 points ahead of Chris, Beijing Beef, back in 3rd. Gus Fring in 4th, moved up 2 spots after winning last week at Watkins Glen. Had a rough couple races, but's trying to get back into the championship fight. 5th is Phil Slow, 6th Tetsu Tetsu. And then after that, it falls off a little bit. Saul Goodman, Chad Broski, Wine Silly Man, Max Cold, Diogo Sebastio, Karishima, John Panini, Eliza Doe, OxyClean, Spencer Alfredo, David Bialois, May Borowski, The Father, Missing Sock, Jacques Croissant, Sussa Samogus, Rogero Espinel. The Sun, who is on pole today, is all the way back in 24th in points. Nemahavir Ragunathan hasn't done too well on the road courses, but has done pretty well on the ovals, so maybe he'll get his second top 10 of the season. Team standings, Spring Speed and Vasily Snorters are tied coming into this race with 459 points. Between the two, Los Polos Hermanos about 70 points back, so they've got some work to do. The Flat Earthers, Magenta Saucies, BFL Racing, Team YouTube, The Graveyard, La Vitesse, Ruidam, Sebastio Racing Foot, the Laundry Boys, Team RAS, the Italian Mob, and Ragunathan Racing. So now as we await to go green, let's take a look at your, well, my pick to win. If I had to pick anyone, I'm gonna go with the 51 of Max Cold. Kind of fallen behind in the championship the last couple races, and would definitely like to try to get back up there, and I definitely know that he can. So we'll have to wait and see if he can get that done. But I'd also, the 16 and 15, you see them right by each other. They're going to be trying to go for the win as well. Eliza Doe just got their best result of the season, so they're ones to look out for. As now we await to go green on the backstretch. 67 laps, so about 100 miles. Cars lined up 2 by 2. As here we go, we hear the engines start to rev up even more. The Sun, first pole of the season, As green flag is out, we are racing here at Kentucky Speedway. A good jump for Max Colt as he already dives to the inside of the 14 going into turn 1, as now the 51 of Max Colt already into the lead. Phil Slow dropped back a little bit at the start, but now into 3 and 4. 4 wide in the field. The cars are everywhere. So many lanes to choose. 4 wide. Lap 1 is complete. We are now on to lap 2. Look at Spring Roll on the outside, trying to make something work. Phil Slow already back 17 spots, but the door is open for Eliza Doe on the inside. Max Colt has to move down. But Eliza Doe just gets there and is now going to try to move ahead. Eliza Doe will just lead lap 2. OxyClean looking on the inside. Mahavir Raghunathan up 4 spots since the start into 4th place. OxyClean will stay behind. The 3rd lane trying to do something on the outside. We stay green, no incidents yet, but I would not rule anything out. Give it a little while longer and we may see some cars hitting the wall. As OxyClean just gonna peek to the inside. Is there enough room to try to dive it in into 3 and 4? Yes, there is. OxyClean just gets in front. But now is Beijing Beef behind him. Beijing Beef so far winless this season, but is 3rd in points. Been very consistent this season. However, last race was their worst race of the season, so gonna want to try to bring those results back up. Raghunathan tries taking a peek to take the lead of that 2nd lane. But nothing happened there. OxyClean still out in front. So we're now on lap 6 already. About a 10th of the way in. As Beijing Beef's just gonna look to the inside. And it definitely seems like the door is open. Just barely gets through. Almost made some contact with OxyClean. But Beijing Beef now into 1st. 5 wide at the back of the field. But still nothing has happened as of yet. A lot of the cars at the middle kind of locked into a position. Not really able to go anywhere. As now Wine Silly Man is on the inside. Already not even all the way down the backstretch, and Wine Silly Man into the lead. Followed by Chris. As the lines kind of fell apart in turn 3. The 4 was up there and just kind of backed off. Wine Silly Man just will lead that lap. Wine Silly Man up 12 spots since the start, tied for biggest mover, and now Chris is now the biggest mover, currently in 2nd. Chris already up into a good spot. Some drivers have lost more than 10 spots. David Bialois, Phil Slow, Vasan, way down, but started really high up. Chris now trying to take a peek. Can Wine Silly Man hold on? Yes. Maybe just a little. Wine Silly Man will just stay ahead. But the door is open now onto the front stretch. Wine Silly Man's got to get down, and just does as Mahavir Raghunathan gets pushed up to the third lane. Still incident free as Wine Silly Man continues to lead. And now Wine Silly Man drifts up once again to leave the door open for Chris. However, closes it once again, but now Max Cold right back up to the front. David Bialos, who I said was down by 10 spots only a little bit ago, is already back up here. Only down 1 spot since the start now in 5th place, but now moves up to 4th to break even. As Chris gonna dive to the inside. Gonna just have a nose in there, but that's gonna be good enough to be in the lead. Chris will now lead that lap. The 83 of Gus Fring now behind Chris. Both have 3 wins this season. Just Chris has been a lot more consistent than the 83. Raghunathan, who is in the 3rd lane, has dropped all the way back to 24th. Spring Roll, Chris's championship rival, is all the way back in 24th now. Some very close 4-wide racing back here, but no incidents have occurred. And now the 83 of Gus Fring tries taking a look. Gonna be close, but not gonna be able to get any spots. But now the door is open. Can the 83 try to get down? Or does the Zero have too much of a run? Zero has too much of a run and comes down to block the 83's run. Chris has an angry 83 right behind them. The 4 of Karishima right behind the 83. As now the 83 once again has been given an open door, but the Zero, not able to get back down, will just lead that lap. But I have a feeling they aren't going to be leading the next lap, as they're probably going to drop back, as now the 83 leads going into turn 2. Chris now drifts up to the 3rd lane, so Chris gonna probably cycle towards the back now, I would assume. Gus Fring will just lead that lap, now has the 4 of Karishima behind. And the door is open, the 4 gonna try looking to the inside, down the inside, into turn 3. Just not close enough. As some cars have kind of fallen off the back, but now the field has regrouped a little bit. As now Karishima has a little bit of room on the inside. and gonna try to take the lead into turn 2. The 4 is just ahead. Got the 10 of Rogero Espinel right behind. Still green, 17 laps in. Now starting the 18th. Kurishima just leads that lap. A little bit of checkups in the middle of the pack, it seems. I heard one car back off the throttle, I think 5-6 wide near the back. Kurishima still leads Espinel right behind. Chris, who I said would cycle towards the back, has cycled towards the back. All the way down in 23rd, but already up to 20th before I even finished that sentence. And already back down to 23rd, so if you're up at the front with about 2 to go, that doesn't mean you're going to be up there with 2 to go. I saw a little bit of wheel banging between the 07 and the 9, and they continue wheel banging, and that is a crash, a big one. The 07 and the 9 is upside down. That is the 16, the 51. 77 may also be involved. So let's try to see what happened. I said the 07 and the 9 were making contact up towards the wall, and the 9 just flips over backwards into the catch fence. You see the 51 took a big hit. Let's see if we can go on board for this, because this was pretty scary. Oh, a very violent accident. Let's go to the back of the grid and see if we can see what happened. We need to go back a little bit farther. So this is Spencer Alfredo, who is at the very back of the field, just sees a car get absolutely launched. The 2 of my picks to win are out. And it seems like the 4 and the 83 are staying out, while a bunch of cars coming into the pits. We're going to have to see if that will work. John Panini also stays out. Wine Silly Man and Chris also going to cycle towards the front. On different pit strategy, Espinel was leading them into the pits. Who's going to get back out on track first? The Sun has a pit box all the way at the end. It is Espinel, followed by May Borowski. So very interesting to see that some cars decided to not pit while others did. The top 5 all did not pit. Then you see the rest of the field catching up now. And it seems like Mahavir Raghunathan, something must have happened to him. Can we go back and see anything that would suggest damage? Oh, coming into the pits, just makes contact with the 87 right at his pit box. They both were drifting over to try and pit. And I would just say the 87 was not watching where he was going. Flipped the 17 upside down. So I think the 87 Definitely should have been watching where he was going. Tried pulling into his pit box, but could have definitely slowed down a bit to let the 17 go by. So Ragunathan now a lap down. The ovals were his strength, or are his strength, and was probably looking for a good result today, but now is one lap down. So fastest pit stop of the ones that did pit, a 5-second from Eliza Doe, a 4.9 from Spencer Alfredo. That is very fast. So now we wait to see what'll happen after the restart. Biggest mover John Panini up 20 spots. Besides the 5 that have had an incident, biggest loser is the pole sitter, which was the Sun. Down 17 spots in 18th now, as we are about a third of the way through this race. Couple cars come back out on track. Ragunathan now 2 laps down. So definitely day not over for the 17, but definitely will have some work to do. As now we will be going back green this time. And now speed picks right back up. The 4 of Karishima will lead us back. Gus Furring in second, John Panini third, Wine Silly Man fourth, and then Chris in fifth. The 83 going to be following right behind. As the 83 tries to pole high, but now the 50 of John Panini will be just to the inside. Going to be moving into second now as Gus Furring has left the door open. And now John Panini goes to the inside of the 4 of Karishima. Gonna try to be taking the lead. Spring roll sets the fastest lap with 36.1. John Panini now in the lead. Four wide for a second there for second place. As now John Panini a little bit more comfortable lead as it's the top 6 and then the field absolutely drops off. The field is very spread out after that restart. Spring roll sets an even faster lap of 35.6. The top 6 have broke away from the rest of the field. About 1.3 seconds back, you see him way back there in the background. Rogero Espinel trying to make a move on the middle lane, all by themselves now. John Panini continues to lead. John Panini still leading Kirishima behind Wine Silly Man. Back there, there's about 3 different groups spread around the track. There's the first group, which contains 1st to 6th. The second group is about 7th to 16th. And then 17th through 21st are in that third group. At the back is now Kirishima on the inside, trying to look for the lead once again. Wine Silly Man just behind. Kirishima will lead that lap. Just 6 cars up here, but a good amount of them will have to pit. I think the only one up here that did pit, if I recall, was the 10. Yes, it was the 10. So all of them will have to pit except for the 10 of Rajiro Espinhel, who will get a couple laps by themselves, but then will be swallowed up by the second group. So a lot of the people in the top 6, or really the top 5 right now, are going to be hoping for a yellow. Coming up on the halfway point through this race, Wine Silly Man follows behind the 4. You can see just how far up the road the 6 are. It doesn't look too much from the TVs, but you can see that it's still a pretty big distance. Let's look at the run Espinhel has in the middle lane. That was a good move. Espinhel trying to kind of side draft the 4, try to pull him back. I don't know if that really works in USF 2000 cars, but it's worth the try. About 200 separated the 4 and the 10 that lap. As we are now over halfway through this race, but a lot of time left, a lot of stuff can still go down. As Max Cold is exiting the pits after the wreck. Phil Slow is also leaving the pits. So there are going to be some slow cars out on the track soon. The 16 and the 9 have not came out yet. But I would expect for them to come out soon. Kirishima still leads with Silly Man right behind. So we're currently watching to see if these if these cars up here if they will need to pit. My guess is that they probably will, since I don't think one caution's going to take them all the way to the end. It could be close, but I don't really think so. Yeah, you can see the top 8. 5 cars did not pit. They're ahead now, but will they be ahead at the end of the race? So Wine Silly Man has not really tried to make a move on Karishima, but I guess it's been working since they've developed a pretty big gap from the group behind, about 2 seconds now. The third group has pretty much merged with the second group, so now it's just 2 groups. A small 6-car group, and then about a 14-car group. That would be the one that would potentially cause a yellow if I had to guess. The 46 being very loyal to the Ford, hasn't tried to make a move, and has just kind of followed along. Wine Silly Man could very well try to make a move here, but now Wine Silly Man's going to be stuck in the middle as Chris moves to the inside. As they are now up on lap traffic, that is the 9 of Tetsu. And the cars on the inside get held up while Wine Silly Man and Rajiro Espinhel go around. And now that first group has kind of fallen apart. Gus Fring and Chris still stuck behind as that big group is about to swallow them up. John Panini got a little bit away. Karishima a little bit farther up the road, but they're going to be caught soon. And Wine Silly Man and Rajiro Espinhel not doing themselves any favors, going side by side. Wine Silly Man now drifts up a little bit, and now Karishima is going to be right back there. I'm surprised they caught up so fast. A couple cars have fallen off the back. That's Beijing Beef, Spring Roll, and Chris, but Chris is way farther back. And still behind the 9. I don't know why they're still following. I wonder if they're trying to conserve fuel. But that is a really dumb decision. That's leaving a couple cars off the back. Karishima now back into the lead. Karishima leads once again, but now is going to drop into the pits. Wine Silly Man just going to be ahead to lead this lap. But now cars are starting to pit, and this is when Espinhel could try to get an advantage, but going side by side is not working at all. So that's going to let the cars behind catch up really quickly. As now John Panini has dropped behind. So now it's just Wine Silly Man and Rogero Espinhel. But Silly Man is going to need to pit soon. And I wouldn't be too sure about Espinhel as well. Would need to do a bit more fuel saving as they're coming up on a slow car. That is the 07 of Phil Slow. As Wine Silly Man drops off, Rogero Espinhel now out by themselves. As now these cars got to be closing in. But the 10 could try to get a draft off of the 07 of Phil Slow, who is down in 23rd. I'm going to dive to the inside to get ahead. That was a nice draft, and that actually gave them some time to hold off the cars behind. Rogero Espinhel, now 20 laps to go. Could they hold on by themselves for 1.6 second is the gap. Saul Goodman leads the group behind, followed by May Borowski, who is now going to try to take a look to lead this group to the inside, and it's good-ish. Yes, I would say this is good. Espinhel now slowly being caught by the group behind. As time's ticking down, about 1 second is the gap. I don't think Espinhel is going to be able to lead till the end. As it is now less than a second. Espinhel tried everything he could, but is going to be swallowed up by the group. But we'll get around Tetsu nicely. As a couple of the cars in that group got held up once again. But Saul Goodman, first car to reach Espinhel. Gonna be take a little peek to the inside, but not gonna go for it. May Borowski around the outside almost led that lap. I'm pretty sure it was pretty close. As May Borowski has more momentum, but now Espinhel has gained some momentum. About 8 cars in this group now. A couple a little bit farther back. Seems like the 83 of Gus Fring, who's now down in 20th, ran out of fuel, tried to go longer, but just couldn't do it. And is now down in 21st. The 60 of Saul Goodman tried taking a peek to that inside. We're getting a little bit closer to the end of this race. Espinhel still doing pretty well. His teammate Diogo Sebastio on the outside. So Ruidam Sebastio Racing Foot doing very good right now in first and second as of now. In this group, there are about 11 cars. Right behind is the 99 and 2, a pair of teammates. Both of them trying to go for the championship, so they're just gonna have to try to work together to get to the end. As now the 60 of Saul Goodman has a little bit of an opening to go to the inside to take the lead. As now Saul Goodman is leading this race with 13 laps to go as they're wrecking. There goes the 87. 20 of May Borowski involved. OxyClean. Spencer Alfredo involved. I saw a couple cars moving around and it did not take long for an accident as it woof, 70 upside down. So it seems like the 84 made contact with the 87, just were too close together. Sebastian just held on hard into the 20, and then the 77, just the momentum flipped them upside down, rolling down the track. The car actually doesn't look too bad. It actually looks kind of drivable. Just a little bit of that wall tap probably wasn't too nice. The 20 actually looks fairly intact. The 87's destroyed. So, second incident of the day. As that will take out the 77, the 20, and the 87 from this race. As we are under caution. And a couple cars gonna pit to try to top off some fuel. That's the 10 and the 18. A pair of teammates who's behind them, Eliza Doe, Beijing Beef, Spring Roll, gonna try to top off on some fuel. Espenhel wins the race off pit road. As next time around, we'll be at 10 laps to go. So it's gonna be a good dash to the finish. A lot of the cars up here, like you see, the 69 and the 14, just trying to earn some good points. Same with the 32 and 45, 42, all just wanting some good points. The 60 and 84, trying to get into the championship battle. Saul Goodman looking for their first win this season. Chad Broski looking for their second. Everyone on the cars on the lead lap that do not have a win: Saul Goodman, the father, the son, Sussus Amogus, Jacques Croissant, Missing Sock, Wine Silly Man, Karishima, Espinel, Sebastio, Eliza Doe, and Beijing Beef. So a lot of cars on the lead lap don't have a win yet, but would definitely like to try and get one. So coming to 9 laps to go, I'd assume the lights on the pace car would go off this time by lights on, pace car are off, as we'll be going with about 8 laps to go. Top 5, Saul Goodman, Chad Broski, and then a pair of teammates, Vafaver and Basan, and then Sussus Amogus. Only 2 major incidents. Will we finish under green, or will there be a yellow? My guess is it will finish under green. As green flag is out, Saul Goodman leads. As we are now on lap 68 to go. The 32 of Sussus Amogus did not get too great of a start. Going to be a little bit behind, but could try to draft up. The 84 of Chad Broski already there. The 69 of Vafaver already there. The 14 of the Sun getting close. Free wide for the lead. Chad Broski to the inside. Chad Broski looking for a second win. The Sun is now here. Sun 24th in points. Farthest back up here. Lap 61. A couple cars have caught up to this lead group. The 84 of Chad Broski leads. 6 laps to go. Mahavir Raghunathan sets the fastest lap with a 34.8. A lot more cars have caught up. Sussus Amogus, you see, leaping to the inside to try to take second. A big dive. It works a little bit. The 84 was involved in the last incident. Got a little bit of contact from it. Lap traffic not really much of an issue at this point. Sussus Amogus to the inside. Gonna have the 46 following. Sussus Amogus to the lead. As we are now at 4 laps to go. Wine Silly Man in second. Gonna be trying to go for their first win. Wine Silly Man right behind. Gonna try to go to the inside. Wine Silly Man is there. No, he's gonna tuck in behind. He's gotta be more aggressive. He followed before all the way, did not try to make a move once, but Wine Silly Man really gonna have to try to work to get a win. 3 laps to go. Chad Broski trying to draft on the outside. Wine Silly Man taking a look again. Gonna need a good draft down the backstretch. Not pulling out of line. This could be a big downfall to the 46. 2 laps to go. Chad Broski trying to get that outside to work. You see the 46 behind in third. 42 of Missing Sock you see on the outside. Saul Goodman just trying to get that third lane to cooperate. Sussus Amogus leaves the door open. Wine Silly Man gonna try to take a look to the inside. He's gonna try to dive in, but Sussus Amogus closes the door. But leaves the door open once again. Wine Silly Man trying to get by. Missing Sock now on the outside. Could the 42 try to win? Who's it gonna be? Missing Sock trying to get a good run. Wine Silly Man's gonna have to go for it in turn 3. Trying to take a look, but there's just not enough room. Trying to dive under, but it's not good enough. I think this is one. Sussus Amogus drifts up the middle as there's lap traffic in the way. Missing Sock tries to peek by, but it is not good enough, as it is Sussus Amogus who just wins at Kentucky. A little bit of lap traffic throws a wrench into the ending, but Sussus Amogus is your winner. A little bit of fireworks going off. Best result for Sussus Amogus, Missing Sock, Rogero Espinel. All really good days for them. As now, let's take a look at your results. A little bit of a crazy end with a lapped car in the way, but Sussus Amogus just beats out Missing Sock for first place. Chad Broski will finish in third, as I saw Ragunafin in the grass for some reason. Rogero Espinel will finish fourth, Saul Goodman fifth, Eliza Doe will finish sixth, then Karishima, who I'm pretty sure led the most laps, will finish seventh, Jacques Croissant in eighth, ninth Wine Sillyman, 10th The Sun, 11th Diogo Sebastio, 12th Spring Roll, 13th John Panini, 14th The Father, 15th Beijing Beef, 16th Chris, 17th Mahavir Ragunavin, 18th Gus Furing, and now 19th May Borowski. Now we're getting into the cars that were involved in incidents. Spencer Alfredo, OxyClean, Max Cold, Phil Slow, Tetsu, and David Bialois will finish off the grid. So good race here from Kentucky. Next week, we're back into the Triple Crown, another double points race. It'll be at Michigan, so it'll be another fast oval, even faster than this one, a lot wider. As I will see you all then. Goodbye.